Hey guys, I think I'm live. Um, Sorry for the terrible quality of this video. I'm actually using my tiny little hybrid tablet to broadcast, and it's not super great. Camera's not really great, but battery life is better than my phone, and my actual laptop processor's way too slow to do this. So I am trying to figure out how to get to the chat so I can see what you guys are saying, if anyone shows up. And this was just kind of a weird impromptu thing I decided to do, so it may be that nobody shows up, and that's fine. I'm just gonna sit here and cleanse my cards like I would anyways and talk about my cards. So I get live control room. The health is good. That's what it says. I don't know about that, but let's see. Yeah, okay. So anyways, yeah, I show that I have one viewer, but I think that's just me. So I don't know. This live streaming just kind of confuses the shit out of me. So I could have done it on Facebook, but I thought it might be nice to do it on YouTube so that if people want to go back and rewatch it later, that they can. So this is how I celebrate Samhain, or this is one of the things that I do for Samhain. And that is I cleanse and bless all of my tarot cards, oracle cards, any divination method. I've got runes over here. I've got witch runes over here. There are probably a lot of things I'm missing. I know there are a few decks I'm missing. They have ended up in various places. I have put them into various purses. I have taken them all over the place. So yeah, I have cards like kind of everywhere. So, but this is, I'm gonna show you my messy office. And this is the table with all the decks that I need to cleanse. So yeah, I'm going to be here for a while. I'm just going to sit here and talk. And, you know, if somebody comes to chat, that's cool. And if not, I'm just going to talk about my decks. Yeah. So, okay, as far as like what I'm using to cleanse my decks. Let me see. Actually, I can't get this straight. Okay, so my original intention was to use Palo Santo. And the reason I was going to use Palo Santo is because I used sage last year and I leaned over and inhaled all this sage for like several hours because this is like a long process. And I ended up with a nasty, gnarly sinus infection. So this year we're going to try with the Palo Santo, and I've been kind of playing with it. It's not staying lit very well. It's not giving me like a good long bit of smoke, so I would have to keep lighting it over and over and over again. I think I'm going to do that until I get annoyed with it. And then I have white sage, and I have the leaves, and I just light the individual leaves and put them here in my sand. I don't know how well you can see that, but my bowl of sand, essentially. And I let them burn, and they burn a little bit more, a little bit longer. So that'll be good. And if that starts driving me crazy, I have sweet myrrh. I don't know. I have kefi here. I have just incense. I actually have some good aloes wood incense. I have sandalwood. Actually, I may have put the sandalwood in my herb cabinet, like I should have, like I should do all the time anyways. So anyways, yeah, we're just going to burn various things. We're just going to burn shit. Yay. But let me get this started. So yeah, and I did take a shower earlier that I kind of like did some ritual cleansing of myself where I did some grounding and centering, that sort of thing. I've been breathing deeply. I kind of have brought myself to a meditative state. I'm a little bit nervous about broadcasting because you never know what's going to go wrong. And actually, I'm really curious to find out how loud that music is, if it's crazy or not. Let's see. Yeah, it's kind of, you can view it on the watch page. Let's see if we can see any chat there. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, I mean, so we don't have anyone here yet. Oh, 2 people. So, yeah, which is just fine. That's cool. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and start. So, anyways, I've kind of breathed deeply. I've kind of gotten myself into that calm space, and then I tried to stream, and that completely blew everything. So, I'm just going to take a minute and just kind of like center myself and breathe deeply. And I would love it too if anyone's watching that can tell, is the music too loud? Is it too quiet? Just let me know, because I wanted to have some good music in the background, actually. There, now I can hear it too. Alrighty. So anyways, I'm going to start with my first deck. And this is the first deck that I ever got. This is the deck that my dad bought for me when I was 12. And if you know about my relationship with my father, it got kind of complicated later in life because he was always the open-minded one who then gave that up. And yeah, so this is the Sacred Circle Tarot. I got this when I was 12 years old. And I was a little witchy kid, and I was interested in things like tarot and divination. And this is what I wanted for my birthday. And we went to this little store called the Sphinx in Atlanta. I don't know if anyone remembers that. It's right next to Ansley Mall. God, this is right in my face. Yeah, and it was just this little dingy, nasty, little dusty store that just was awesome. It was so good. So here's how I cleanse my cards. I basically just pass them through the smoke and just kind of visualize them being blessed. And, it doesn't require that much energy or focus on my part. So I should actually hold these up to where you guys can kind of see them passing through the smoke. And at some point, I divided these up into suits because I am on the 5 of Pentacles right now. So that was probably when I was doing the Bewitching the Cards videos. And so the cards that I was using for that, I ended up dividing. Yeah, this is really not smoking very well. Let me see if I can get it started just really, really well. And I love the smell of Palo Santo, and I love the way it just is so much lighter than sage. Because, yeah, sage, seriously, if it's like really strong, I'm going to get a sinus infection. That's just kind of the way it goes. And that's the thing with witchcraft that no one ever talks about is sometimes you're allergic to shit. I know people who are allergic to chamomile tea. I know people, they have like hay fever kind of reactions to it. We had a roommate. We couldn't have a cat for a long time. We had a roommate who was allergic to cats. Cinnamon oil will burn your skin. If you put it directly on your skin, it can burn your skin if you're sensitive. Same thing with peppermint oil. There are a lot of things like that you just have to be aware of, because not everything that is good and witchy and pagan is good for you. So yeah, some people are even sensitive to lavender, and lavender is like one of the most benign substances there is. It's kind of like good for everything. Most people do okay with it. So I don't know. But yeah, actually, this is one of my favorite Three of Swords. You know, the Three of Swords is always pretty anyways. The meaning of the card is a little rough. It's a little difficult, but I just love that picture. I thought that was a really good one. And again, this is the deck that I grew up on. This is the deck that I had until, it was the only deck I had until I was maybe 19 or 20. And then someone gifted me the Mother Peace Tarot. And then when I was like 21, 22, I went and bought for myself the Sacred Circle Tarot. And those were the first decks that I had. But this one I had, you know, for years before I even looked at another tarot deck. And I would do readings for my mom. I would do readings for our neighbors. I would do, you know, for my sister, for just whoever asked. I was just thrilled to death to be doing readings. I still am. I'm just a little bit more discerning about how much free reading time I give to people. Because it does take energy. And that's, you know, that's the thing. One of my friends on Facebook, Toby, posted a meme about somebody asking for free readings. And the person said, sure, or asking for a reading. The person said, sure, you can, you know, schedule me and this is my rate. And the person said, well, you know, I wanted a free reading. And the person said, well, you are something entitled. I can't remember the phrasing. You feel incredibly entitled to other people's labor, which was funny. Because that's something that really goes around. And, you know, I still tend to give free readings to friends. Or at the very least, if they insist on paying me, I try to give them deep discounts. But yeah, this is my job now. This is what I do. And by saying it's a job, it's not. It's better than any job. It's something that I love. It's something that I feel really connected to. It's something that I'm so happy I get to do it. I feel so lucky and so fortunate that I get to do it. I feel so lucky and fortunate that I get to help people using tarot, and that I get to be a part of their lives and their decisions and help them see things maybe from a different perspective. Makes me incredibly, incredibly happy. And usually, you know, if I've done like a really good reading or two, I'm on a high. Man, I am like, I feel amazing when the readings are good. But yeah. But I don't just, you know, give hours and hours and hours of readings and of my time away for free anymore. Because, hey, guess what? I like to eat. I like having food in my fridge and in my pantry. And my husband, he's a big guy. He really likes it when we have food around. He strongly prefers that. So this is you know, a way that I use my gift. You know, some people are gifted at doing hair. Some people are gifted at fixing cars. Some people are gifted at, you know, waiting tables or doing spreadsheets or, you know, a number of different things that people do for a living. This happens to be something that I'm gifted at. And just because it is kind of more of a spiritual type thing, that doesn't mean that it's less valuable and that I don't deserve to make a living. So. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear this music. This is a playlist on Spotify called Hauntings. And it's deep, dark, ethereal indie folk, perfect for dark out October days and chilling autumn nights. And it's very kind of like dark folk. It's really good. I like this playlist. This is going to take forever, you guys. Like, seriously. I'm trying to do this quickly, but also still connect with the cards and try to do it in a meaningful way. Where I'm not just, you know, wasting my time here and, you know, have to go back and redo them. So yeah, so what I like about Sacred Rose is look at that color. Okay, the color is beautiful. The images are evocative. The images, however, they don't tell you a whole lot about the card. So this was not a great card deck to learn from. It, again, the art is beautiful, but it's not... I could have saved myself so much time by going to the Rider-Waite. There's the High Priestess. So I could really learn the symbolism. Okay, with this, I spent years and years and years just looking up the meanings. I still have the little white book, and this thing is mangled, right? Because I spent so many years. And then I finally got a book on tarot where I learned a little bit more about tarot cards and how they're supposed to look, I guess, how they are in the Rider-Waite. And that's when I really started learning. But this is not like the best deck for learning, but okay, but it's so gorgeous. Like, look, here's the Empress, and she's beautiful. Look at that, gorgeous pregnant belly. She's so pretty. So I don't know. It doesn't have a lot of symbolism, but it does have some symbolism. Like, it has all of the sometimes there will be Hebrew characters that show up in the cards. This deck usually has those, so that's kind of cool. But there are always lots of stars. And yeah, just the colors I was drawn to. And I that's still a thing for me. I'm still drawn to really colorful decks. I like art. I'm a fan of art. And so I like something that makes me feel something. Okay. Or if it's a dark deck, like a more like a black and white, like a stark deck, that's cool as long as it evokes something. Okay, like the Wild Unknown, which is what I'm doing next. It is not nearly as colorful, but the art is really beautiful, and it really speaks to me on a personal level. So, yeah, like I don't have a lot of decks that I don't connect to the art because I am picky. I'm never going to be one of those people that has like 400 decks, right? I do have a lot of decks. But yeah, I am picky about them. And, one of the things that I'm doing and one of the reasons why I have a lot of decks is because I'm going to be selling a year subscription. Okay, so I wanted a different deck for every month. I wanted a different deck, a different oracle deck. I want a different cloth background. I want seasonal things to kind of add to the background because I like to make things pretty. I'm just that way. I like to decorate with my decks. So actually, this Palo Santo, it's not staying lit, but it's kind of easy to start back up. So we'll stick with this for a while. I should be doing this like up here where you guys can see the smoke is kind of like staying low. So. All right, so that was Sacred Rose. And yeah, and again, this is what it looks like. This is what the back looks like. Oops. Nope. This is what the back looks like. And then I'll just show you a couple cards. So it's very distracting because I keep seeing what I'm doing and it's like, 2 minutes behind what I'm doing here. So, and when I first was getting decks, I read somewhere that somebody said that you can't keep your tarot deck in the same box that it came in. It's just not done, right? And I took that very seriously. And so I have any of my earlier decks are in bags. And this is like a bag that I hand knit. It's a terrible tarot bag because it stretches and it just holds. It's just weird. It's just kind of awkward in here. But any of my early decks that you'll be seeing tonight are in bags or in some sort of a wrapping or that sort of thing. So now I just leave them in the box. I like the boxes because they're easy to stack and I can see what I have, and it's awesome. So now the next deck, I'm not going to go in order because that would be ridiculous to try to do that. I want to show you guys, like I definitely want to get to the decks that I actually really care about. Okay, so this is going to be my next deck, and I love this, and I've talked about it before. This is my personal deck. Okay, this is the deck that I use. It just reads for me, and I've tried to read for other people, and I wasn't getting good readings. But when I was reading for myself, I was getting some amazing readings. Okay, and it's the Wild Unknown, and I've actually put below links to a lot of these decks. So, yeah. So I hope nobody's trying to chat because I don't have anyone here that's showing up, which is, again, fine. But I just hope I'm not missing anything. Let me check over here. Yeah, I don't see anything. I'm not going to stress over it. Maybe I should go back to the control room. Yeah, this is something when I was streaming with other people that someone else always kept an eye on, so I don't know how to find the chat. I'm bad at this. Okay, I'm good at other things. I'm not going to beat myself up. Yeah, okay, whatever. So, anyways, back to the Wild Unknown. My personal deck, I do my daily draw from this deck. I usually have it sitting here on my desk with this amethyst on top of it, just to keep it spiritual, keep it rocky. No, I love amethyst. Amethyst is, great for divination. It's great for spirituality. And this is a very spiritual deck. Okay, so this is like, what do I need to do next? What should I be focusing on? That sort of thing. But here's the amethyst. I don't know how well you can see it. But yeah, beautiful piece. So yeah, so the Wild Unknown. And I bought this because, again, I'm trying to, when I bought this, I was trying to set up seasonal decks, okay, not monthly decks, but seasonal decks. And I needed one for winter. I needed one that was like stark, that was, black and white art, something that was like really kind of not desolate, but not fluffy. You know what I mean? So that's why I ended up getting this one. And yeah, it didn't want to be read for other people. It just would not have it. So it's my deck. It's my personal deck. And that's cool. Like, I feel like you should have a deck that's just yours. And like, these images are like so meaningful. It's like the World is my favorite card. Well, the World or Strength, depending. So, but it's just such a simple image that makes such a statement. Yeah, I've always loved this deck. Or the Hierophant, like, and I like ravens, Amy Ravenson. It's kind of my thing. And so here we have the Hierophant, who is this awesome raven who has the key. He has the secrets, right? He's the one that we go to for all the answers. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, relighting. Yeah, I've had this Palo Santo for like months, and I use it like a little bit because I just light it and then kind of forget, and it gives me a little bit of scent, and then I just kind of forget. But I love it. I like it so much better than sage. It's sweeter and more mellow. And like sage has that you know, when I smell it, my brain is automatically, okay, we're cleansing now, right? But when I smell this, it's like automatically, okay, we're blessing, right? This has much more of a blessing feel to it to me. Whereas sage, you know, sage and salt just are always going to be associated with cleansing to me, because that's what I use them for mostly. You know, there is an element of blessing as well, but I don't know, this just feels stronger as far as that element. Maybe it's the sweetness. I don't know. So. And this song is used by Wyvern Lingo. Actually, if somebody could tell me, if you guys can hear this music, that would be great. Get that screwed up again. I should show you guys. Got all the flamey stuff happening off camera. That's what's exciting. Yeah, I was actually in a Facebook group at one point where somebody had just learned, they were taking some sociology class or something along those lines in college, and they had just learned about cultural appropriation. And I try really hard not to, that's like always been a thing for me. I don't want to try to claim anything that's not mine. That's not cool, and you should be respectful of other cultures. But this person insisted that we were assholes because we were using the word smudge in reference to cleansing things with sage. And this 19-year-old insisted that we call it sage blessing. I got so pissed. Because, you know, my thing is, okay, well, hang on. No, this is a Native American tradition, and we should respect that. But if we call it sage blessing and then go ahead and do it anyways, so if we just rename it and then do the exact same thing, that seems more disrespectful to me. Because then we're not honoring where it came from. And it's frustrating because, like, I don't want to do anything. You know, I have stopped. I was using the word totems for my animal guides. That's a Native American tradition. Actually, totem, I was looking last night. I was like, is totem really a Native American word, first off? Or is it a word that Europeans gave to this, you know, phenomenon of, you know, people having, you know, their animal guides? No, it was, and I can't pronounce the tribe, Objwa. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not going to try to pronounce it. It is their word. So no, we shouldn't use the word totems, maybe. And spirit animal is kind of suspect. But there are a lot of other traditions, a lot of other cultures that used animal energies in their ritual work and their spiritual work. And so, yeah, so it is something that isn't specifically Native Americans, mostly Native American, let's be honest. But, you know, the Celts worked with animals quite a lot. The Vikings Northmen had strong ties to animal spirits. So yeah, it's definitely a concept that I've always felt really connected to. I've always felt like a lot of strong animal energy in my practice, but, you know, does it hurt anything to call them animal guides instead and be respectful? No, I don't think it does. Smudging, however, I don't know. Like, I don't think that that's I don't know. What is that distinction for me? I don't know. I have to think about that. So this song is Marked for Death by Emma Ruth Rundle. I love this song. So yeah, this deck too, it does not pull any punches with me. And I need that, which is why it's good for a personal deck. Like I have a hard time lying to myself with this deck. If I have a prettier, kind of a sweeter deck with like a nicer energy. Hey, CJ, how's it going? Okay, I'll pull those out next. CJ is saying she can't wait to see the Halloween and Oracle and Tarot deck. Those are coming out next. But yeah, this one can be brutal. And sometimes that's a good thing because I can't lie to myself. Because I do. I tend to lie to myself. I don't know. And CJ actually, hey, CJ will probably remember from the class I gave at DragonCon. My stepfather passed away in June of last year. And I pulled the wheel, right? The Wheel of Fortune. And so he was in the hospital at the time. And I was like, I took that to be, yay, you know, he's going to get out. He's going to get better. He's, you know, there's going to be a change in fortune, right? No, he passed away a few days later. And it was just a way that I was lying to myself. Like I read the cards the way I wanted to. And it's so easy to do that when you're reading for yourself. It's really hard to kind of like get out of that mindset. So, CJ, can you hear the music? Is it loud or is it quiet? Or I've got the Hauntings playlist playing from Spotify. So I want to actually find out from you too. You were looking for, that may have been a surprise. I should maybe not say anything. Never mind. It may have been a gift sort of thing for your beloved. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Oh, okay. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. It's really pretty. I mean, actually, this is The Arsonist's Lullaby by Hoser. So, but yeah, this is a great playlist. It's very, kind of gothic and ethereal, dark. This is going to take me all night, seriously. Okay, we're flaming up. Cool. Oh, you're looking together. Did you decide like which deck? Because I know you're looking for another deck for Lisa. Also, you guys posted some great pictures on Facebook with all your Halloween hijinks. We still haven't gotten to Netherworld. We want to, but the money's just like been kind of iffy. Yeah, the Halloween deck is like very specific, which I don't think I brought that when I was hanging out with you guys. It is very specific to the time of year, but you guys love Halloween and you live it all year, so it might be perfect. I find it's a little flippant. It's not very serious, and it's not great for learning because the suits are very difficult to remember what they are. Honestly, I'm trying to remember what they are right off, and I can't. I want to say imps are wands. Cats. I don't remember. We're going to look at it in a minute, so I'll be able to take a look. Now the Halloween Oracle, I think I brought that. Wait a minute, you guys. That's just gorgeous. Oh my God. As far as Oracle decks go, you know, Oracles being, someone told me I didn't explain that very well at the class, and I didn't. Oracles are just, you know, kind of decks that people put together where they, you know, have things like happiness or, you know, joy or take a break or, you know, things like that. And then when you draw them, you don't read it like tarot cards where you just kind of read the art and the meaning that's written there. And they're great. I actually like to use Oracle decks in conjunction with tarot cards. I use Oracles as a clarifier. So, okay, so this one's good. And I'm just going to leave this here on my desk because this is where I use it. Halloween is right here, conveniently. Alrighty, so yeah, we've got like the 9 of Imps. So that's Wands, I believe. Let me look. Actually, I could have held that up longer. Bats. I don't remember. I think bats. See, I don't know. I need to go back and look. Every time I use this deck, I've got to go back and look. Bats, maybe Pentacles. I don't remember exactly. We've got pumpkins, which I don't know. I don't know. I could sit here and try, but I'm just gonna make myself look foolish. So the suits are ghosts, pumpkins, bats, and imps. And here is 5 of ghosts. So it's really pretty. Like it's a cute deck. It's a little bit too cutesy, I think, for me. And the suits make it really difficult to learn. So if she is wanting to learn, it may not be the best deck for her. But it's really fun. I mean, like, this is the back, so it's a really fun deck. And this is the deck I've been using for October, because, you know, for obvious reasons. But I do have to look it up every time I use it and remember which is which. And it actually, if you look on Amazon, there's a new version that comes in a little tin. So I like decks in little tins. It makes it easy because, you know, like I carry mine around everywhere. So if you can have it like in your purse or in your pocket or, you know, in your hoodie or what have you, it just makes it easier to carry it around without damaging the cards. But yeah, I'm just gonna show you that again. I love that back. That's just so perfect. I'm really into the backs of cards because it kind of like, it sets the tone. You know what I mean? That's what you see first when you're shuffling and when you're getting ready to do a spread. And I don't know, the backs can kind of make or break it. Like if I've got like a really cool deck and I love the art and the back is stupid, like I don't tend to like get as into the deck. I don't know. I'm probably weird about that. So, hey Susanna, how are you doing? Next love, Roberto is an Aries and Sagittarius. I wish I knew more Spanish. I wish I remembered more Spanish. But me gusta tu canal, I think is, I love your channel, or I like your channel. So cool. So, okay, Roberto is an Aries and you're a Sagittarius. So, wow, you guys have like a lot of fire energy. That's awesome. I love fire signs. I'm a Capricorn, so just completely earth. But I love fire signs because they kind of activate me. And actually the last guy I dated was a Leo. So he was like a fire sign. And yeah, it's just such fun energy. I love fire energy. I just love all that, you know, just everything popping, you know, and catching fire. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, most of my closest friends are Aries or Leos or Sagittariuses or Capricorns. Actually, I'm a Capricorn and my husband's a Capricorn. And we actually were dating somebody at one point who was a Capricorn. And it's fine, but Capricorns can be kind of rigid. And so we get into arguments sometimes. He doesn't get into arguments. But I am very much like, hey, I'm right. Just deal with it. I'm the one who's right now. So. Yeah, I wish my Spanish was better. It's been like 20 years. I need to really pick it back up because we have actually a great Latin population around here. It's really cool. People from all over the place. And it's really fun because when my husband moved here, he moved here from Baltimore. And Days of the Dead, I'm trying to remember. Is it a convention? I can't remember. I know Walker Stalker Con was this weekend. But when my husband moved here from Baltimore, he moved from like this just really white bread area in Baltimore, and he came down here and he saw like all of our international markets, and he went crazy because we have like such a great international population here. And he bought like an $18 jackfruit about this big. He just had this huge jackfruit. It was ridiculous. Okay, cool. Yeah, sure. We kind of have trouble with cons, and the reason is they're a lot of money. It's like Monstrama was late September, I believe. I've got a friend, actually my friend Anthony started that basically, and I have never been, and it sucks because like, I really, that's my genre. Like I love, it's all like old Universal monsters and everything like that, which is stuff I love. And I love anything horror. I never have the money because I'm usually broke from Dragon Con. So, but in February, yeah, maybe. So, and I know that's around here, right? Yeah, I have a friend who got to meet Bruce Campbell at Walker Stalker Con, and she was like beside herself. She got to shake his hand. She was posting pictures from it all weekend. Super happy for her, super envious for us. Oh, the Sheridan. Okay, cool. Yeah, probably, honestly. Because yeah, February's like a, real chill month as far as money goes, so. Yeah. I don't know, we've got so many cons in Atlanta, as you guys probably know. And Joe, he does voice acting for Atlanta Radio Theater Company, so he ends up at a lot of them doing performances. He does 221 Con, which is, a Sherlock Holmes. They do Timegate a lot, which is Doctor Who and Timegate Con. He does Liberty Con up in Chattanooga, which is fun because we go up to McKay's up there and sell all of our books. So, sure. Is your new love Roberto? I was gonna look and see if we've got a deck around here. Let's just pull a card. I don't know. I'm going to use my Rider-Waite deck. Is your new love Roberto? Oh, yeah. Things are looking good. The 10 of Cups just came up, and the 10 of Cups is about, like, reaching all your goals as far as, like, family and love and having a great relationship. It's kind of like the happily ever after card. So, yeah, I mean, I really feel like things are looking good for you and Roberto. So, and you both have that fire energy. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to get along on that level. And yeah, I'm sorry, I wish I knew more Spanish. Hey, Johnny Dragon. So yeah, I mean, things are looking really good. So I hope, let me know how things go. It sounds, you couldn't have gotten a better card, I don't think. That or the 9 of Cups would have been great. So How are you doing, Johnny Dragon? Yeah, I'm sorry. I never get a chance to like comment on your comments, but like I don't have like a great notification for when I get comments, so I never know that they're there. Okay, it just got really folky. We may change things up. I got like just a pagan playlist. Let's try this one. Switch things up a little bit. It's a little bit more witchy, if you will. I hate that word witchy, but it applies for a lot of things. The Witch is Real, which is one of my favorites. I actually have a friend who plays Celtic music down in Florida, and Florida and Ohio. He travels back and forth, and he did a version of this that was really great. Yeah, actually, Susanna, it looks like things are looking really good. With that 10 of cups that I drew, that's kind of like the happily ever after card. So I feel like, because we were asking about him specifically, I feel like all signs are pointing to go. Is he like into like the marriage and the family and the building something solid like that? Is that the kind of person he is? I like your pumpkin too. It's cute. Hey. Baron wants to come say hi. Come here. Say hi. This is Baron. Right. Okay, you wanted to be up here. You gotta say hi. Pet tax. This is my child. Do you see? That's you. Everyone's looking at you. Everyone's thinking about how handsome you are. Okay, I'm gonna put you down though. He's like, okay, fine, bye. Didn't know it was gonna be a thing. His name is They're All Samedi. You have to do it with a ridiculous French accent. It's the only way it works. Hey, Emery, how are you doing? Oh, that got real loud. Okay, Anne-Marie, your video was hilarious. I swear it's like you took that stuff right out of my head. Yeah, online dating is not for the faint of heart. It is not for the impatient. When I was like dating a lot, like I had to hold my tongue quite a lot. Yeah, Joe is like infinitely more patient as a human being than I am. I tend to like call people on their stuff when they're doing crazy things. Yeah. You know, I honestly thought about doing like a Tumblr or a blog where I just posted the stupid things that people said to me, like more in chat. Yeah, dating online is rough. Yeah, I actually got a friend who does. Is hers a Tumblr? Yeah, I think hers is a Tumblr, and it's called OK Cupid Follies, and she posts all these pictures of all these guys and the messages they send. Oh, here I'm blessing the title card, and it's hilarious. Oh, thank you. That's Baron. He's my good boy. Osiris will probably be in at some point too. Yay! I'm so glad, Susanna. I really think that things look good for you, so that's really cool. Yeah, Hunger Games. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because they're all hungry. Yeah, I was at a party on Saturday, and some guy sent me a dick pic, and he had sent, like, I don't talk to single guys online anymore because it's not worth sorting through all the jerks to like get to the ones that are good. And there are really good, amazing men out there that are just having a hard time with women because of all these assholes. And this guy sent me dick pics in the middle of the party, so I clearly had to show them to everybody at the party, and he was very harshly critiqued. So yeah, he sent me a pic and a video. I'm like, anyways. So we laughed at him a lot. So yeah, I should be like showing you more of these since you were thinking about this for Lisa, CJ. But yeah, it's not a bad deck. It's just it's not going to be really useful for learning on. So. So almost done with this one. This is going to take me, I've done 3 decks, and I've been on for an hour. And I don't know if y'all saw that picture of all the decks that I want to try to get through tonight. I need to get better at this, or faster at this. But yeah, this took me like 2 nights last year. And last year I had like half the amount of cards that I have now. So I knew what I was setting myself up for. Alrighty, so that was the Halloween Oracle, and again, the backs are gorgeous. Here is, this is the one that just came out, the Knight of Bats. And again, I don't know what suit that corresponds to, so I couldn't tell you. It's very energetic, so I don't think it's pentacles. I don't think it's water. That's probably swords. Bats are probably swords, looking at him. Here's the Magician. Actually, the Magician is really cool. He's just a lot of fun. So, 8 of Bats. I don't know. I need to look up the suits. So, hey, happy Samhain. Are you doing anything fun? We're actually probably going to go see a horror movie tomorrow. So, oh yay, cool. Okay, so yeah, actually, you wanted to look at the Halloween Oracle, and I think I brought that. I think I showed that to you guys, but I got this last year, and I got it like right at the end of October, so I didn't get a chance to use it, but I've been using it like all autumn. I've been using it for just general autumn readings, and I've been using it for my October readings, and I love it. It's only, I think, 36 cards, so it's kind of a smaller deck. The cards are huge, and they're illustrated so well, and this is the book. So the book is like, it's a nice book. You know, it's like got a lot of information. I do have trouble with these as far as shuffling because the cards themselves are huge. And the cardstock is like really thick. One thing I don't love about these, well, I mean, that's really what I don't love about these, is that the cards are huge and the cardstock is really thick. It makes them really difficult to shuffle. I do like that it doesn't have the gilded edges, because I hate gilded edges because I always worry that I'm going to screw those up. But this would be amazing for Lisa as far as an oracle. I mean, look at some of that art. I think she would really dig it. Scrying. I mean, the art is dark, but it's also colorful, and it's also, this is one of my favorites. Actually, it's one of my favorite cards. I work with spider energy a lot. And so yeah, the art is like evocative and colorful, and then the skulls. There are like 4 skull cards in here, I think. So the art is just stunning. So yeah, knowing that you guys really love Halloween the way that we do, I think she would really like this one, because the energy is, there is like a sense of playfulness to it, but there's also that darkness and that richness and that depth to it. So yeah, so highly, highly recommended. And there are links to, again, a bunch of these below, so if you want to just click, then they're there. So okay, okay, so as far as cleansing the cards, no, they're not hard to read at all. The book, actually, there's a lot of information, but it's not super, super helpful because it is very general. It talks about the image, and it talks about, but it doesn't say like what it means in a divinatory sense. So you kind of have to use your intuition, which is great because I like that. I dig it. I like being able to say, okay, this is what this means to me. So Anne-Marie, what I do is usually last year I used sage, okay? And I take each card and I kind of like wave it through the smoke, and that kind of cleanses and blesses it. And I'll probably like store it with, I don't know, selenite, or probably just clear quartz crystals, or possibly amethyst, to kind of charge them up a little bit. But instead of sage, last year I sat with sage for like hours and did this, and I ended up with a nasty sinus infection. So this year I'm using, yeah, it is pretty. This year I'm using Palo Santo, because Palo Santo is a lot less harsh on my sinuses, I guess, like for lack of a better. It's harder to keep lit, I'm finding, but it's really kind of worth it. So I just have this Palo Santo stick, and you can get this at Phoenix and Dragon. And I've got a candle sitting right here, and I just keep lighting it so that it smokes, and then I just pass the cards through it. And before I started, I took a shower, and I did like some ritual kind of cleansing, and also so I'm not good at multitasking, and also did some grounding and centering. So I kind of cleansed myself, kind of, you know, took some breaths, got into a meditative space, and then I'm just passing these through the smoke. So yeah, again, I mean, like these, I really feel like Lisa would like these. They yeah, okay, here's the underworld, and we've got a skull with a pomegranate. So like how amazing is that symbolism? You know what I mean? Because then we've got the whole the skull representing death, but we also have the pomegranate representing Persephone, you know, who is taken to the underworld by Hades. So it brings in that kind of like mythological dimension to it. Yeah, totally get her these. I don't think they're crazy expensive either. I think they're $20 or less. I want to say they're like $18, so it's not a crazy expensive deck. Now I just bought, actually the next deck that I'm going to do, I just got. It's a $50 deck, because it's an indie produced deck that I bought directly from the artist, and man, it's pretty. It's so good. I mean, it's really, really gorgeous. And I need to show you guys, CJ and Lisa, the Mildred Payne's Oracle I got too, because I think you guys would get a kick out of that. Yeah, thank you guys for coming tonight. I was like, you know, I'm going to do this anyways. I may as well like talk to some people. So. Yeah, Joe's out seeing a very depressing movie with a friend that I don't really spend much time with anymore. And it's like, y'all have fun. I got stuff to do. Yeah, this is the witch's reel again. It's really fun. I heard a version of it like years ago that was sung by women, and you could tell they were in a circle, and there was lots of whooping and hollering and drumming, and it got really riotous. It was a really good version. I've never been able to find it again. Okay, so here's the lamp for remembrance. So that brings in the ancestors. So we've got some Dead Can Dance. And I used to play this album, and my cat, like I had a boom box with like the two speakers. So when it was stereo, it was like, it sounded like it was coming from the two speakers. My cat used to freak out, so. Well, let me know, because I can show you guys these. I can like, we can just even get on Google Hangouts sometimes if you want to see these, and I'll go through them and like show all the cards so you can get it. Like any of my decks, seriously. Because then I get to talk about them. So it's a win-win for me. So. And here we've got the apple, which is risk and reward. So happy Samhain. Johnny, you never said whether you were doing anything special for Samhain. I'm doing this, and then we're going to go see a scary movie, probably Snowman. Although I may push for Geostorm because I love disaster movies. And it's getting terrible ratings, so it's very scary indeed. But we're going to go see a movie tomorrow night. And then I'll do like something with Hecate and my ancestors when we get home. And I also have a story that I need to get in tomorrow. Tomorrow's the deadline, so I'll be doing that beforehand. Yeah, I thought that I'd brought those. Yeah, Trick or Treat is about mischief and play. So that's cute. Hello, welcome to the vlog. A black cat, which we just saw my black cat. It's timely. This is another good one. Actually, I pulled these. I'm going to show you guys both of these at the same time. I pulled both of these cards in a reading. I don't think it was for anyone here. But it was a cool moment. You know, sometimes you have those readings where things just like come together and things just hit you. And it was something about, let me think back. I've been doing a lot of readings lately. It was something about being seen or communicating and having people see the real you and see beneath. And I pulled both of these cards, and look at the eyes, the black cat and the owl. And it was just the eyes were so striking when these came up together. So yeah, this is like a really cool deck. It like really, I don't know, there's something about it that just tells you what you need to know. So I really like that. So that was the Halloween Oracle. And let's see if I can put this box. So yeah, let me show you guys that one I just got. Like there are a couple that I definitely want to get to because I want to tell like the stories of the decks. I'm thinking about doing a video series where I talk about the decks and like my personal experiences with them and why, yeah, certain ones mean certain things. This is the one I just bought, and this is the one that it was $55 with tax and shipping. And if y'all know me, y'all know I'm cheap, and I have a real hard time spending more for a deck than the $20, $30 on Amazon. But I just kept seeing this one, and it was just, the art was so stunning. And so I got this for my January deck. And the reason why I got it for my January deck is because most of the cards are blue. And they have kind of that snowy feeling with like the long nights of January. Look at this book. How cute is that? With a little eye, and it's an okay little book, but like I don't really need these books anymore, so it's just kind of for decoration for me. But look at this box. So yeah, so I got it for January because it was so blue, and it reminds me of the long nights and the snowy nights, and so yeah, so this is my January deck, but I don't regret spending $50 on this deck at all. I will show you in a minute some decks that I regret what I spent on them. Not that they're bad decks, but just that like I haven't even opened this one because I feel so much shame over it. And this is Oracle of Oddities, and it's gorgeous. I've seen the pictures online. Like I haven't even opened it though because I think I spent $50 on this one too, and look at how tiny that is. And I was like, oh, I just feel shame and regret. So yeah, I'll open up that one a little bit. But this one, I feel great about what I spent on it. So, I mean, look at the art on this. Like there's the full, I'm trying to figure out what is the best position to show you guys these. You can tell I haven't even, this is a recent purchase because I haven't even, there's death. But yeah, it's just so dark. And this one has gilded edges, but they're silver, which is really cool and unique. Oh, Seven of Pentacles, the Farmer card. So yeah, I kind of, like, I really, gilded edges make me nervous. I feel like I'm going to ruin the cards. But whatever, these are silver, and I think that's really cool and unique. Here's Five of Swords. And also what's neat about these is when you set them out, like you can set out all to, I don't know if it's from Ace to 10 or Ace to King, but you can set them all out and they create a scene. So they all kind of like the images interlock. I just freaking love this deck. I have not read with it yet. Again, because it's January, it's my January deck. I haven't really gotten into my winter cards yet. I'm still really fully experiencing fall. But I am going to be listing a yearly subscription. So each month, will be different cards, different fabric, different little decorations, different oracle. So it'll be kind of cool.
Our life is a voice. You make the road a spirit.
Oh, I didn't know you're a Sagittarius. Wow, so you've got like a lot of fire and air energy. I'm the opposite. I'm a Capricorn, and I have Cancer rising. So like everyone meets me and they think that I'm like mommy, and I'm so not mommy. And then I've got a Pisces moon, which kind of explains why I've always been so interested in the occult and anything mysterious or hidden or spiritual. So I've got one Earth, Sun sign, and then two like super watery signs. So I get emotional about stuff. My watery signs get like really emotional about things. And then my Earth sign, my Capricorn sign gets really pissed off at myself for getting so emotional. So it's a weird blend.
You make a road for the spirit to pass over.
Yeah, I've been looking a lot into the astrology of all the asteroids and all of the what are they called? Not dwarf planets, but like microplanets, smaller planets, like things like Ceres. I think Ceres can be classified as a dwarf planet, I guess. And Pluto is now a dwarf planet. That sounds right. But the astrology of them and how they affect you. And there's this one asteroid. It's like asteroid 8540 or some crazy number like that. It's supposed to be like your inner child. I'm like, okay, that's going a little bit far. But like the bigger ones that are named, like I'm like, that's kind of cool. It kind of adds some dimension. The subscription. Okay, so I've got 3-month subscriptions already up, and that's because I had the cards in the background and everything to set up for October, November, December. And so the 3-month subscription, you can get 3-month subscription or a 9-card 3-month subscription. So at the first of every month, I'll send you, and I'm only doing it via email because it would just be a little bit, it would be a lot of work to do it on video. You get, on the first of the month, you get a personalized 3-card or 9-card tarot reading. And so you get that at the first of every month. So I've already listed the 3-month readings, but I'm going to do a year reading. So it's like a year subscription where for a year, on the first of every month, you will get a personalized reading. And I'm going to like message everybody or email everybody, you know, like 5-6 days before to see if there are any specific questions. But otherwise, it should be a general reading. And again, every month I'll have like a different setup. And actually some months I'm going to use tarot cards, but then I always add an oracle in. Some months they're going to be oracle cards. Some months I'm going to use my charm oracles, my charm divination system. I'm going to use runes. I'm going to use witch runes. So it's not always going to be cards. So hopefully it's going to be kind of cool. But I'm going to be setting up those pictures and taking the pictures of those pretty quick and listing the readings probably in December because I'm doing NaNoWriMo just for November. So I'm not going to have like a lot of time for anything else. So, but yeah, when I list those, I'll message you and send you a link so you can take a look and see what you think. But they're discounted too from like, you know, if you got like 3 months of 3-card reading, it's cheaper than buying 3-card readings. So look at this Queen of Chalices. Like how beautiful is that? And these cards are just so unique. There's nothing like these cards. Like they kind of have a similar flavor to the Wild Unknown that I showed you. But man, they're just so beautiful. And yeah, you can't really. I'm gonna take like 2 cards and show you just how the pictures go together. So yeah, it will be. So for like the 3-card readings, usually the way that I price my stuff is it's $2 a card. So my 3-card readings via email are $6. For the 3-month subscription, I'm charging $5 for each. For the 12-year, it'll probably be $4 each, so it'll be like $48 for a year of 3-card readings. 9-card readings, you know, it'll scale up. So, and the 9-card reading, it's basically just 3-card readings to where we're looking at 3 things that are going to come up during the month, how to best handle those, and what the outcome will be. So, okay, so here, let's look at these. 4 of Pentacles, 5 of Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles. And you can tell, like, I've kind of flipped through these, but like some of them are still stuck together. So we've got like this whole scene. And if you lay them out, they kind of tell the story, which I love because that's the thing. As you go through the suits, there's a story being told. And so, you know, we've got, you know, here, you know, we've got the, you know, brick wall behind it. We've got this person is greedy, but then they lose everything, you know, but then they kind of like through losing everything, they kind of go back to childhood, right? There's a story if you go through each suit and it just illustrates them so well. So I love this deck so hard. So this is the Prism of Visions Tarot. I realize I maybe haven't been saying what I'm looking at all that clearly. So yeah, right. And there are other decks that do this. The Mary L Tarot does this. I want that one too. That one's on Amazon. It's just one that I haven't gotten to. I'm trying really hard not to just go crazy and buy like every deck. But there are some that like I have a specific reading in mind that needs like the Dark Days Tarot. It's a square tarot. And so you can read it upright, you can read it reversed, or you can read it in a different way if it's facing right, or in a different way if it's facing left. And so I have like this very specific type of reading I would like to do with that and offer that. So don't ever start collecting tarot decks if you can help it, because it's like you get one and you're so excited about it and you just can't wait to get the next one, and you don't take joy in the ones that you've got. So that's not true. I love my cards. I do sit around, like if we're watching a movie at home or something, I'll sit around and shuffle my cards, just whichever deck is close to hand. So like, look at this. This is 10 of Pentacles. Like, how beautiful is that? And I just love these cards. And he actually sells prints of the suits all laid out. He will. He sells a set of 4 prints of, you know, Pentacles and Cups and Swords and Wands. It's really neat. I want to see him do more. He actually did a deck, but he did a very limited edition of. I can't remember his name right off. But if you look at prismavisionstarot.com, I think it shows that he did one that was more like black and white, but it had the same kind of like, not pointillist, but kind of expressionist brushstroke style, but it was black and white. It didn't have the blue and all the color. It was gorgeous, and it's limited edition, so I could never have it. It's very sad. But yeah, actually the next reading I'm thinking about doing, I've actually just recently kind of, you know how these things just kind of show up in your consciousness, and they show up, you know, in the circles that you travel and make their way into your awareness. I have just recently gotten into the whole conjure concept of, and conjure, you know, I use that to describe, you know, voodoo, hoodoo, any Southern Appalachian root work, anything, you know, along those lines. I just kind of lump it under the umbrella of conjure. There's the concept of road opening, okay? And I love that. I've always been like very attracted to Ganesh, who is the remover of obstacles. Same concept, right? And there are so many of these things that transcend culture, where you just find them everywhere. And so I've kind of become aware of road opening oils and road opening candles and road opening, you know, spell work and things that you can do. And like, we could all use some of that, right? We could all get rid of some obstacles. You know, I have a lot of stuff that seems to be just in my way that just drives me crazy. So yeah, so there's a new reading I want to do that is based on that concept, on how do I open roads, how do I open pathways for myself, how do I get rid of obstacles. So yeah, that's probably going to be the next one. Actually, I've got this other reading I want to do. That's the 5 points of the pentacle. So it looks at how the elements, because the 5 points of the pentacle each represent a specific element. Okay, so we've got earth, air, water, fire, and spirit. Okay, so spirit being the 5th. And so there will be a card for each point that will show how the elements and what they represent work in our lives. I know there's a lot of stuff coming up. Again, next month is NaNoWriMo, so I don't know how much time I'm going to have to put together new things. So we shall see. There's a lot of Dead Can Dance in this list. I think because I didn't set it to shuffle. Let me set it to shuffle. I love Dead Can Dance, don't get me wrong. It's just a lot. There we go. So what about you guys? Does anyone have any great plans for Samhain? You do anything fun? Anne-Marie, you're not haunting this year, I don't think. I know Joe's actually been really enjoying the break. This is, again, it's not staying lit for very long, but whatever. Yeah, sometimes you gotta take a break. Like, I keep seeing all the pictures that, you know, other people are posting, and I keep asking Joe, I'm like, do you miss it? And he's like, because it's so much work. I mean, you guys bust your asses out there. I mean, it doesn't matter, you know, whether you're an actor or not. Like, everybody hustles. Oh, that's right. Yeah, happy anniversary. Where are you guys going for dinner? Yeah, I told Joe that you guys got married at Bonaventure. He was like super jelly. We went for my 40th birthday, and he loves it down there. Really? Yeah, actually, Joe was assaulted a few times. He had people like twist his nipples. I mean, he had people. I don't know if I should be talking about that, but it's kind of personal for him. But he had people grabbing him and just, I don't know. They see him and he's a big guy, and they think that it's fine to fuck with him, and it's not. They should be real glad I wasn't around, because I'm the scrappy one. There's the Four of Wands. Yeah, Joe and I want to renew our vows too. We kind of had the idea that we were going to do it every year, and then we kind of forgot, because I think I told you guys we got married at DragonCon, and we're like, yeah, fuck it, we're already celebrating that weekend. We may as well, redo our vows. But we just have not gotten around to it. But yeah, we're thinking about it, because it was 5 years for us in September. So I feel like every 5 years is like, that's reasonable, right? That's a reasonable time frame. Yeah. Now Joe, he was a swamp hick, and he was just invariably in this swamp hick area, and he chased people with a chainsaw. And it's funny because, like, the bigger and scarier looking the guy was that came through, the more likely they were to like freak out, right? Like, and actually, when we went through Netherworld the first time, Joe hid behind me. He's 6'6", and he's like 350 pounds, and he was hiding behind me. So yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. My short, stuffy self. Oh, 2 years. Cool. Congratulations. That's awesome. Aw. Yeah. It really does. It's weird. My previous relationships, I had like a 7-year threshold. With my boyfriend from high school and my wife that I was married to for 7 years. Yeah, when Joe and I hit 8 years, I was like, yeah, I made it. Because it seemed like that was about as far as I was getting. Like, look here, 9 and 10 of Wands. Yeah, how those go together. Anyways, I need to stop gushing about this deck. Like, I love it, but it's not getting these cards blessed. Like, I'm on a schedule. Okay, 3 more. And I realized I've been putting them in the box, like some like this and some like flipped over, so I get to go sort that out later. That'll be fun. Okay, I gotta stop. I think which should I do next? I'm gonna do. This is one of my favorite decks, and I want to show you guys this one because the art on this one is amazing. Actually, I'm going to show you guys this one. I'm gonna show you guys really quickly this one. I don't think I'm going to bless these right now because I'm not using them right now. This is, it's really hard to see, Mildred Payne's Secret Pocket Oracle. Okay. And this is one of those decks. I spent like $30 on this tiny, ridiculous little piece of gorgeousness. Okay. Like it's so pretty, but it's like, should not have spent that money, but I also really love it. So, and it comes with a bunch of stuff. It comes with, like, we've got this nice photo. This is Mildred Payne. And the story is that it was found in the pocket of pajamas or a pajama robe or something like that in an asylum. And this is Mildred Payne. I don't know if you can see her. She's got crazy eyes. And I kind of love that. But this is from, and this is the whole, the key to how to read them, and it gives you like a sample reading. Anyways, I love this little deck. But again, it was like, is that worth $30? I don't know. But it has like really just simple drawings like this, like girl, time, heart. I love that one. Yeah. So anyways, so this deck, the reason why I'm showing it to you, it's by the makers of this next deck. And come to find out, like, I've always loved this deck that I've had for a while, this one over here. They've got a bunch of other decks. They have like a playing card deck that's really cool. But this is the Deviant Moon. And the art on this is just so gorgeous. Sorry. Let me find one that's like really, okay, here's the back. And the back is nothing super extraordinary. Okay, here we go. The aces are really beautiful. This is the Ace of Pentacles. And so with the Pentacles being about money and about earth and being grounded, being stable, but really a lot about money, this dragon totally works because you think of the dragon and his hoard, right? He's clutching that pentacle. Just the art, seriously. Oh, here's Ace of Swords. And she's vigilant, okay? But she is like, she's got two faces, okay? There's the light of the moon and the dark of the moon, and very often swords are about cutting away darkness or about discerning, okay? So it kind of gives you that sense. They're just so, the art is so evocative. Okay, so let me see if we can find another. The queens are gorgeous. I'm always really into how the queens look. Let me see, Death is really cool in this one. Oh, here's Ace of Cups, right? And so, you know, the cups are about emotions, but they're also about secret hidden depths. And she looks like she's maybe got some secrets, right? She looks like she's hiding something. So actually, yeah, it's kind of just crescent moons on the back. But this might be one that Lisa really likes because this would be much easier to learn from than the Halloween tarot, but the art is like, God, it's so good. Yeah, let's see. Let me just try to find like one more to show you. If I can find Death, I really like Death in this deck. Oh, here's, okay, well, no, here's another Ace. Ace of Wands. Okay, new beginnings. And very often the Ace of Wands, especially if it comes up with like the Ace of Cups, is about babies being born, getting pregnant. Something to watch out for. But yeah, so look at that. I mean, it just gives you that brand new beginning, that brand new don't know. I just I'm sorry. I'm done gushing about Deviant Moon, but this is the Deviant Moon borderless edition, and yeah, I love this deck so hard. This deck I use in November, so I'm about to play with this deck like a lot. So, in fact, I may use this for my writing. This may be a good deck because a lot of times when I'm writing, if I get stuck, I like to have a deck nearby because you could just pick a card and, you know, tell the story from that. The King of Cups. Okay, I just pulled the King of Cups, right? So if I'm writing and I don't exactly know where to go, I'm like, how can I introduce, you know, an older man who is emotional but balanced? You know what I mean? Who's emotional but not like over emotional. How can I do that? Or can I add those traits to one of my characters? And I'm not really writing about characters this time. This is the Deviant Moon borderless edition, and they're on Amazon. They're actually in the list below this video because I just put my favorites, and this is definitely a favorite. Yeah, it's great for writing. So yeah, and actually, you know, you can use the cards with like anything. You can use them with art. If you're an artist, you can use the images to kind of stimulate, you know, the part of your brain that wants to tell a story. Like, you know, where does this person go after they leave, you know, whatever. Here they're, you know, building something. You know, we've got the Three of Wands. They're building something. They're creating something. They're analyzing it. Like, where do they go from there? You know, and then work that into a story. You know, or work it into an art piece. What is it they're creating? Here's the Fool, and he's fun. And I'm gonna try not to show you guys like all of these, because again, I'll be on this deck forever. But yeah, I love these. So yeah, I want to get their playing cards too. I've always really wanted to read the playing cards and just have never gotten to it. So yeah, Two of Swords, Stalemate. You know, we've got these equally matched brutes. I gotta stop showing you guys all these cards. I gotta get through these. See what else. I'm trying to think of like what I really, really seriously want to show you guys. Because I'm clearly not getting to all these tonight. I'll show you some of the lighter decks because I've got my autumn decks and the winter decks, and that's kind of, you know, the space I'm in right now. But I also have some like really pretty springy, summery, more pastel types of decks that just have really good art though. Like I'm not into fluffy, cute stuff necessarily, but sometimes you need fluffy, cute stuff. Sometimes there's like a reason for it. I should just give up on blessing these and just like show you guys all my decks. Actually, when I'm done with this one, I'm going to probably take a short break, little intermission, let the dogs out, and let myself out, and put away the decks that I've already done, so clear some space. This is, oh, Arcana, Dark Age of Reason. Yeah, this is a playlist I did on Spotify called Pagan Tribe. And I just added everything to it. I think it's got like 99 hours worth of music, or just, I don't know. I just like anything that might evoke some sort of mysterious pagan magical mood. Yeah, I'm kind of a big fan of Spotify and of having like the right music. I've got like writing playlists. I've got playlists for all of my deities. I've got one called Young Amy that's like hip hop that I liked when I was like in the 7th grade. Like stuff like LL Cool J and Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh and Run DMC, things like that. Yeah, I've got lady music that's all, you know, the girl with a guitar, folk, but I've never been huge into folk, so a lot of soul and things like that in there too. Okay, it was so nice to see you, Marie. I hope you have a good night, and hope you have a great Halloween or Samhain or whatever you're celebrating. It was nice to see you. I wish I had a chance to spend more time with you at Dragon Con. But hopefully we'll, I don't know, go meet for coffee or something sometime. Yeah, definitely. Well, 90s, and actually for me it was more like 80s, late 80s. I'm like significantly older than you guys. I am creepy old. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to take forever with these. Okay, Four of Swords. Like, how gorgeous, like, how beautiful is that? You know, and it gives you the sense of rest. You know what I mean? Of just being, well, you know, buried under everything that's been happening, all the stress. You know, and the Four of Swords, it's about rest after, you know, I showed you that Two of Swords that was the two people fighting. They were in stalemate. They were evenly matched. Nobody was giving. The Three of Swords is about sorrow. Okay, it's about something gives. Someone wins and you're the loser, right? So you're feeling that despair of having lost because it was clearly something important. And then the Four of Swords is about you need to rest. You need to recover. You need to recuperate from the fight. So it's usually about rest, but it's about rest that you need. And sometimes it can be even like a mental break, you know, a breakdown. You need to just be out of the situation. So it really gives you the sense, that card that I just showed you and then buried, so I can't show it to you again, of being buried under all of that, under all of the, you know, the chaos that you had to get out of. It just really gives you that sense of being pulled under, like rest that you have to take. You know what I mean? Because you have no choice. Oh man, and here, oh god, the Ten of Swords. I have trouble with all the swords cards. Unfortunately, in my life, I have trouble with all the swords cards. They come up for me a lot, but there aren't like a lot of happy stories with the swords. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's the Four is rest. You know, here's the Nine of Swords. So we've got nightmares and despair and anxiety and depression. I do like the court cards in the swords because they're all very decisive, analytical, clear people. Here's Death, okay? And Death is the only one that doesn't have the words, you know, like doesn't have the little border here with the word, because it transcends all of that. You know what this is, you know what I mean? But it's just, he's pushing him down, grinding him under his heel, you know, because it's what death does, you know? And it's, death in tarot is rarely ever about actual death. It's usually about change, but it's about inevitable change that you can't get away from. And so that card really is very evocative. So yeah, the cups, I like, they have like all this crazy fish imagery. I gotta stop showing you this deck. And that was my dog. I don't know if you guys heard the toenails clicking. That was my dog Puck, who's probably peeing in the hallway because I didn't get up quick enough to go let him out. So he's cute, but he's a dick. He's very old. He's not a dick. He's just very old. He doesn't give a fuck anymore. He just doesn't care. If I don't get up and deal with him, he's just gonna take care of it. This is Souffle by Mercandide. Okay, Hey, I gotta stop showing you guys this deck. This is the sun. Here we're dancing under the sun. Like everything is shown, everything is known, everything is celebrated, This deck is like, this deck like brings, it just really brings something out in me. I think this deck did a lot to make me a better reader because it helped me connect emotionally to the cards in a way that I hadn't. It helped me see, Life of a Pet Parent, right? It helped me just study tarot so much more deeply because the imagery just brings up so much. Here's the Empress. Actually, my dogs are both very geriatric. They're both about 15 years old. I have a Chihuahua and a Beagle, and I get up like 4 times in a night to let them out. Like my life is not my own at all. Fortunately, the cats are kind of as long as the litter box is clean, they're good. So, okay. So on that note, it is 9:46. I'm gonna go take like a 5-minute break. I'm gonna go let them out. It's probably too late. I'm gonna put these up. I will be back around 9:52, 53, thereabouts. So I'll see you guys in a bit. I get to reorganize these because they've been like so out of whack. Hey, Bob, what'd you think? Alrighty. Sorry about that. Okay. 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 Hey guys. What to do next? I kind of want to do one that like I never touch or look at or have any interaction with. How about? No, you know what? I'm going to do this one because it's Samhain. And CJ and Lisa, you guys saw this. This is the Revelations Tarot. And this one I only use to, there's a lot of death energy around this deck. I bought it when my father was dying. And I bought it because there were so many people from his church at his house. And they were treating it like it was some huge party. And there was just this weird party atmosphere when my dad was dying, and I had to get out, right? So he had a Barnes & Noble around the corner from his house, and so I went there. I was like, I just needed to connect to my own spirituality, right? Because those church people, and I'm not saying this about all Christian people, I'm not saying this about all Baptists, those people were terrible. I'm not going to generalize like that, but they were horrible. I had to get out. So I went and bought a deck of tarot cards. And it was a way for me to just reconnect with my own spirituality. So I got the Revelations Tarot. And this is when, like, the back isn't all that great. I don't love it, you know, and I did say that I am really, you know, I do like to see a really cool back on the back, but when you look at the front, you don't care. That all fades away. Like, you know, the art on these is so beautiful. And what's really good about the Revelations Tarot, too, is that the reversals are very, very clear. Okay, so here we've got the Six of Wands. Okay, so he's coming back. He is victorious. He has fought a battle or been on some sort of a journey. And he's coming back and he is victorious. But again, the reversals are really clear, where here he's like in that battle. Okay, he's not winning. Nothing is going his way. He's not the hero in this reversal, and it's really so good for reversals. I think I'll find another one where it's I don't know. I'm sure they'll come up. Anyways, but the art on this, and I love that each suit has its own kind of color spectrum. So like the wands are fiery colors, okay? It's yellows and oranges and a little bit of red, a little bit of purple to give it depth. Ah, hey.
Hi.
Joe's home.
I'm home.
Hi.
Hello out there in TV land.
How was your terrible movie?
It's good.
Yeah.
I think.
You think? You're not sure?
It's weird.
Okay.
Not weird.
Yeah. What was it you went to go see?
Killing of a Sacred Deer.
You went to go see Killing of a Sacred Deer, and
Yeah.
So anyways, so I used this deck. You know, I used it when Dad was dying, and there's a card in here that looks exactly like my dad when he was like really bad with cancer, and so it's always been like a death deck. So I use it to, when somebody's dying, to kind of predict accurately, unfortunately, how many days they have left. I should have used this story I was telling with my stepdad. I should have used this deck because it would have been way more clear. But then I just got the idea that maybe I wanted to use it to communicate with the dead. And so I've been using it for that. And man, the voices that come along are so clear. Like for me especially, like, you know, I'm like, I know that I'm talking to my grandmother right now. Like there's no doubt in my mind, this is my grandmother saying these things to me because it's so clearly her. So anyways, so this is the deck that I use to communicate with the dead. And here's another one that I found that's a really good reversal. So the Nine of Pentacles is about ease and having enough and not ever having to worry about money and being comfortable and being able to do whatever you want to do, have hobbies, that sort of thing, because money is never a problem. Well, here, money's a problem, okay? Money is a worry, money is a concern. This guy is kind of being crushed under these pentacles where, yeah, I mean, the pretty ivy on the side turns to like dead vines, okay? So money is like always on his mind. He's always got to worry about it. So that's what this deck is, just so good for reversals like that. So let me get some Palo Santo started again. So get it started. Okay. So yeah, and there's kind of a funny story about this deck too. I've bought this deck 3 times. I kept trying to buy the Raven's Prophecy deck on Amazon, and for whatever reason, they kept pulling the Revelations deck. And this is at a time when we were losing people. Like, people were dropping off. I went through about 6 years where we lost like 10 people. And like, just every time we turned around, somebody else had cancer, and it was horrible. I mean, it was like a really bad time in our lives. And so I'm trying to get this Raven's Prophecy deck because I was like, ravens, you know, that's kind of a symbol for us, for Joe and I, you know. I really wanted that deck, but every time I would order it, Amazon would send me the Revelations tarot, and I was like, I know people are dying, like, give me a break. So yeah, so I ended up with like 3 copies of this. I sold this to a friend. I sold one to a friend, and I returned one, and then waited a year before I tried to reorder the Raven's Prophecy again, and it finally worked out. So yeah, this is about 7 years ago, 7.5 years ago that I got this one. So. Try to go fast with this. And this is Frau Silver by Estampi. Estampie. Probably pronounce that. Okay, like, oh God, I'm not going to do this, I swear, with every deck, but look at the Ace of Wands. And look at that, you know, the wands are about fire, and look at that, those colors, like, that's such great fiery colors. And I'll show you, the swords tend to be kind of like lighter blues. Like, this one's kind of dark, but it tends to be kind of like lighter blues. So, you know, swords being for air is a tough one to come up with a color for. Like, a lot of people will choose yellow for air. Some people will choose lavender for air. Some people will choose like any pastel. They chose like a light blue, which works, but then you have to like think about like chalices, which are about water. So I don't know. But I just love the colors they chose. Like, Pentacles is all like golds. Golds, I think there are some greens as well. But Pentacles are about earth and about money. And so it is very much that gold green energy. So yeah, so they paid a lot of attention to that. There's Puck coughing. That's attractive. Yeah, like here's a chalices or cups. It's kind of purples and pinks. But again, the colors, they're just really right on. Okay, 6 of Pentacles. Yeah, here's another perfect example of that green gold kind of money energy, and how the art really reflects the meaning of the card. This is actually a good learning deck. So smoke, yeah, like you could use like gray or silver. That would also be really good. Yeah, it's kind of one of those, you know, things that's kind of hard to define. So let's see, like here's swords. They've got like a little bit of lavender. So they chose to see, actually this is a little bit smoky. So you've got that air as that kind of lavender. Just kind of, everyone interprets that differently, and this deck kind of, yeah, but here we've got the King of Cups, which is all blue, you know, so it has that water kind of energy. It's blue with like a little bit of purple. So, yeah. So, Simply Z, I'm trying to figure out who you are. I don't know if we have met or if we've spoken. I mean, welcome, regardless. I didn't mean that to be like, who are you? Thank you for coming. Yeah, the picture's like so tiny. Like, because I'm on my little tiny itty bitty like hybrid tablet I can't see anything on here barely. Okay, here's the perfect, the knight is kind of like fiery energy anyways. He's like the go-getter. But we've got the Knight of Wands, so it's kind of like double fire. And look at those colors. Oh, hey, how's it going? I didn't know that was you. I couldn't see the picture. I should have known after you posted on Facebook. How are you doing tonight? We've got to visit you, or you have to visit us or something, because Joe loves you. And I do. If Joe thinks you're amazing, I do too. Actually, I'm about to yell. Hang on. Joe! Bear! Bear! Come here for a sec. Hey, so nice to see you. I'm gonna say Zohan because that's what he goes by on Facebook. He's here.
Oh,
Yeah,
hey.
yeah. Say hello.
Hello.
This is. It takes a while for it to catch up. Yeah. Yeah, it was Simply Z, and the picture is like so tiny I couldn't tell who it was.
Hey, what's up? Nothing. I just got home.
Big tuna. I love that. I was just telling somebody about how his mom used to call him Little Mister, and it cracked me up because he's huge. Yeah.
But she's your brother.
Yeah, we seriously.
Yeah, we gotta figure something out.
Yeah, we want to get up to your side of the country.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, there's nothing down here. We need to come see you. Seriously, it's boring down here. It's not boring. It's okay. It's just hot and sweaty and humid, and I would move in a second, but he's kind of attached here, so yeah, totally. Yeah, we need. Oh God, I want to travel so much. Seriously, if we just won the lottery, I would go and get a camper, and we would see everybody.
Yeah.
Nice. Definitely you, absolutely, no doubt. But there are also people all over the place that we just know from Facebook, or we know from podcasting, or we know from various other things. So are you doing anything fun for Halloween?
So me now.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna go see a movie.
Yeah. Should we go see it again?
Sure.
Is there anything better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it or I guess Snowman
Yeah.
is the other scary.
Sure, we'll look in the thing. I'm sure half the theaters in town are running some really cool movies.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. If we could find The Shining or something, that'd be outstanding.
Midtown's doing Phantasm again.
Oh, no kidding. So that's not one that we can go to, though, is it?
No, but we've already seen it.
Oh, cool. So are there some good ones up there? Yeah, Joe's not working at Netherworld this year, so. Yeah, we're just going to go see a movie. We're just going to be low-key. I'll probably come home and do Ritual, Woogie Pagan. So I'll come home and do Ritual afterwards. And I actually have a story that I have to submit for an anthology tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day, and I've pushed it off to the last minute. So, and you're working pretty much, so.
Yeah.
We just hide from the kids because we can't afford that much candy.
But I mean, we'll come around here anyway.
They don't really.
Go to the nice neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly. They go to the rich neighborhood next door.
How's it going? How far you got?
Actually, the ones that are up in the shelf are done. I'm going to be here all night.
Not here.
I'm only going to stream until midnight, I think. Yeah, I'll be. I mean, I'm not going to try to do this all one night, I don't think.
I haven't heard of that one.
My Morbid Mind, interesting. Yeah. I actually met somebody too on Facebook who is working one in Minnesota called Fear Fest.
I feel like I've heard of that one.
Yeah, there's some really good ones out there. But I don't know.
Well, that's where the big haunt convention is out there in the Midwest.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I can't remember what it's called.
Well, I did hear that Netherworld was voted #1 this year in the country.
Yeah, a bunch of different places.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah. So, but my morbid mind, I'll have to check that out. Let us know how it is. Actually, what would be cool is if we did that travel, like I was saying. It'd be amazing to do it in October and go like a different haunted house with like everywhere we stop. That'd be great. Yeah, Seattle's got like a really neat history. Are you familiar with an author named Sherry Priest? Because she writes she'll write a lot of steampunk books, but she brings in the history of Seattle. And apparently Seattle has, which Atlanta has as well, like an underground where the city had to be built on top of the old city. We've got that too here, but apparently it's like really neat in Seattle, and it's really, there's like this crazy history behind it, where the city just kind of kept growing up and growing up and growing up to where they kept going over the streets until the streets just got higher and higher, and you had to walk down into buildings to get into them. Yeah, she's really cool. We see her. She was local here in Atlanta. Yeah, she was in Seattle, and then she was here, and then she was in Chattanooga, and I think she's back in Seattle again. But there's so much like regional flavor that she uses, so she's really cool. But it's Sherry, Cherie Priest. We see her at Dragon Con all the time, but I don't think she's been for a while since she moved back to Seattle. So, okay, so that was Revelations Tarot, and we just pick a random deck. Just pick one that seems good. Is it time to open those?
Is it? I don't know. You're the one that knows better.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I'd love to go see that. And there's just so much like natural beauty so close by, you guys. Like I would love to go see. I would love to just go hiking, and I'm not like a huge hiker. I feel like I would go hiking in Seattle or in Washington, because you have all the beautiful forests, and we'll love that. So I actually talked. So thanks for saying hi. So I actually talked about this deck earlier.
Stand here because I want to see.
Because you want to see? Oh yeah. This is one that I was filled with shame because I spent like a lot of money on this deck, and it is tiny. And the images I had seen online were so beautiful that I kind of had to have it, and I saved for it, and did a lot of tarot readings to be able to afford this. It's the Oracle of Oddities. And again, the cards are beautiful, but it's like 30 cards, I think. And I think I spent $50 on this tiny deck. Oh, Cyrus, yeah, had a cat on the table. He's gonna knock all my cards off. So first off, here are the backs. The backs are just black. And they're boring. I mean, they're okay. But what's really cool is the front of the cards. And the front of the cards have this mixture of anatomical imagery with naturalist imagery. So, yeah, so you see a lot of this, like body parts, like medical. Actually, I'll send you a link to my Etsy page, or actually, if you look down below in the video, there's a link to my Etsy page, and it'll show the readings I offer. There are going to be more. I have a bunch more readings that I need to list, but like this one is Uncover, and he's digging in the heart and uncovering all these butterflies. Oh, you got a cat? Okay, he has a cat riding. Well, let me know, because I'll send you a coupon code, like a really good coupon code, because I usually don't charge friends, so we'll make it worth your while. That's Osiris. So that's his butt. So, oh, I love this one. Okay, look at this one is Rebirth. So we have the image of the spine and like the skeletal system. Like it's almost like everything else has been stripped away and we're down to our bare bones, but we've grown wings so we can be reborn, right? So anyways, this deck is just gorgeous. Again, it was really hard to spend that money. Like if y'all know me, I am so cheap. And for me to spend $50 on a deck, I have to like really love it. And then when I got this in the mail, I was like, eh. Now that I've opened it and looked at the images, I'm like, okay, I remember why I wanted it so bad. So, yay! That is Brother Osiris dirt bike. So Joe helped name him.
Where is he here?
Yeah, they've been on here for a while. Yeah, I think that I have them talked into buying the Deviant Moon.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, they're still looking for a deck for Lisa. This is Ego. So we've got, this really medical drawing of this brain with all these, everything branching out of it. So didn't mean to cover up the cat. He's clearly the cutest part of this whole operation. Okay. So here we've got Reflect. Yeah, right? They're beautiful. Like if this artist did prints, I would totally buy prints with no reservations. It was just so much to spend for like this deck of like a few cards. And it kind of like the box is a little flimsy too. And I was bummed about that because I just wanted more, but like the art on the box is gorgeous. So it's like, how pissed am I going to be? You know what I mean? Of oddities. And the website is www.blackandthemoon.com. So yeah, and it's, again, it's not a full-on 78 card tarot deck, but it is a pretty little oracle deck. So, and I think I was going to use this in May. It was my May deck because it does have kind of like the anatomical drawings are a little grotesque, but not grotesque. Some people might find them disturbing, I guess is what I meant to say. I don't. I think they're really cool. But there's so much like springtime imagery around it too, like flowers and butterflies and yeah, so that's I'm kind of going to use it for that because it is about like, I don't know. It reminds me of the first season of what was it called? Hannibal, where there was so much about the symbolism of death mixed with the symbolism of new life. And I know there was like a whole episode on somebody who was using people to grow mushrooms. And I found that really interesting. Like a lot of people would find it disturbing. I was like, I don't know, I found it a neat concept. So, okay, this one is great. Let me show you this. This is Beginning, and it's got the inside of this obviously feminine body that is kind of a nest, okay? And there's a fetus, but they're also like the spring flowers and the branches. So it's got that spring imagery of fertility, but in the context of this drawing. And I don't know how well you can see it. I don't know if the pink shows up. The blossoms are very pink. So it really gives you a lot of like spring imagery. But it's Beginning, so. And then this one, to bookmark that, or to bookend that, is Ending. And so here we've got this torso is going back to nature and is being covered by ferns. So it's just a neat deck. The more I'm looking at the cards, the more I'm like, okay, this was worth it. I'd like to get another box to put them in. But yeah, so. And the colors I don't think are coming up very well because this camera on this computer / tablet thing is not great. But the colors are actually like the anatomical drawings are black and white, but the colors of the imagery of the fruit and the flowers and the butterfly wings are very colorful. So Like here we've got passion. So we've got an anatomical heart that's covered by peonies. Love that. So this is Corvus Corax with Twilight of the Thunder. Yeah, I feel like, you know, in a year after the sting of I spent how much on that passes, like I'll love this deck in a major way. This is cool. This one is Release. And we've got mushrooms and scorpions and spiders and beetles and flies, which, you know, a lot of people find that really grotesque, but like I love insect symbolism. You know, spiders being about weaving and about creating. It's kind of like an animal guide that I use for writing. Or you know, scorpions being for Scorpio, and one of my best friends is a Scorpio. You know, I love beetles. I love the iridescence of their shells. So, yeah. So, a lot of people would find this imagery kind of, you know, off-putting, but I think it's really cool. Yeah, this is not smoking very well, but this is cool. So now we've got the chakras. So there's our root chakra. Here is our sacral chakra. I did not know these were in here. This is like a little hidden treasure for me. Sacral chakra. Root chakra is about stability, about safety, about a feeling of safety. Sacral chakra is about pleasure. It's about how we find pleasure, like in food and in sex and in just finding joy. Solar plexus chakra is about how we bring our will forth into the world, how we go out and do what we want to do. Then heart chakra, God, this is beautiful. Heart chakra is about how we connect with each other. Do we connect with compassion? Do we connect with love? Do we connect with pure intentions? That sort of thing. Do we love our fellow man, woman, person? Throat chakra. Let me light this again. It's driving me crazy. Throat chakra is about how we communicate. Do we, you know, speak our truth? Are we clear? Are we fair? Are we honest? And then third eye chakra is about psychic senses. It's about like how we see things. Do we see beyond what we're told? Do we see what's underneath what people are telling us? Crown chakra. Oh God, so I'm having a moment. Okay, I'm really glad I bought these. Crown chakra is about our spirituality, about how we connect to deity, how we connect to the universe, and the sense of something that's larger than ourselves, the sense of, you know, something that encompasses us and everyone else. So, and then this is Dharma. This is all the chakras operating in perfect unison. The Kundalini energy has been pulled up through the chakras. Everything is flowing the way it should be. This is about your path. This is about your life path and your destiny. And all the chakras are activated. So beautiful. I'm freaking out. I didn't know this card existed in this deck, and I'm freaking out. So that is really gorgeous. We have some kind of Indian-inspired music that came on right at the right time. So this is Vass, Arc of Ascent. So, okay, so I love this deck now. I love this deck so much more than I thought I did. So that is Oracle of Oddities. And again, that website was www.blackandthemoon.com. So, alrighty. What else? I'm trying to think of which ones I really, really want to talk about. I know. I'll show you. And CJ and Lisa, you guys have seen this one. Yeah, right? I love it. It's kind of, it's muted but colorful at the same time. And this is not my oldest deck, but this is the deck that I have used to read for other people more than any other deck. This is the one that I always bring along, even if I have other decks and other, you know, like a deck that's more geared towards reading for career, you know, because I do have a deck that's more geared towards reading for career, or a deck that's more geared towards reading for love. I always bring this anyways, because this one just always gives me really amazing readings for other people. And it's a little bit more beaten up than some of my other decks because I've been using this since I was like 21, 22. So 20 years, right? Because I'm old. The edges are kind of, I keep hitting them with Sharpies, but they've been beaten up. So this is the Sacred Circle deck. And it's a deck with a strong pagan flavor. Some of the cards, they take liberties. I'm trying to think of one right offhand, where in any other tarot deck, it's going to mean one thing, but they have paganized it to where it has a completely different meaning. That's frustrating to me in most decks, but I've been using this one for so long that I kind of get over it. So, and what's cool about this deck is, okay, here we've got the Hanged Man, which is sacrifice in this deck. So it has that kind of harvest grain god feel to it. And all the major arcana have like this stone border, okay? The wand cards have the fiery border, okay? So you know what element you're working with. And it's really good if you want to study the elemental correspondences of the suits. This deck is great for that. So the discs, I find it weird that it's a pagan deck, but it uses discs instead of pentacles, because you would think a pagan deck wouldn't shy away from pentacles, but it brings up that earth imagery. So it has the earth, the kind of green earthy boundaries or borders. This is one of my favorite cards in any deck ever. And this is the Shaman. And he takes place of the Hermit. 90% sure of the Hermit. Yeah, it's the Hermit. But it's about personal experience with spirituality, okay? And very much the Hermit has that kind of connotation of somebody who is retreating, sometimes for spiritual purposes, okay? Where sometimes you need to just be alone and meditate and kind of come to your own understanding of your own spirituality and your own path. And so this really brings that out, but it kind of ties into other things that shamans do, like ancestor work and energy work and traveling the worlds, you know, traveling different, you know, the astral plane or, you know, the underworld or things like that. So this one, okay, this deck does air in a really cool way where it's got gold, but it has the clouds. And so that really kind of works for me as far as air goes for the swords. So, oh God, this is another one of my favorite cards of any deck. And I don't know if it's because it is just so gorgeous or if it's just because it's so familiar that I've been working with this deck for so long. It's actually not looking bad for as old as it is and as much as I know it's been used. I try really hard to take good care of my cards. So yeah, here's another little pagan liberty they took where they replaced the Fool with the Green Man. So the Green Man is unconstrained. He is wild. He lives in the forest. He is not concerned with taking a specific pathway or being told what to do or that sort of thing. So it's kind of, it's cool. I can see it. The Empress is the lady. Cool. She's got like kind of a cornucopia. She's got this whole summer abundance ripeness to her. And here we've got the Nine of Cups. And the imagery on this doesn't really tell you a lot about what the card is supposed to be about, but it's beautiful. So who cares? Like if you know, it's not that huge a deal. Like normally with the Nine of Cups, you'll have a woman who is like living in luxury. I spoke about the Nine of Cups a little bit earlier, and it's about having everything you need, not having to worry about money. And that card doesn't necessarily show that. But who cares, because it's pretty. I'm sorry, I'm thinking Nine of Pentacles. No, Nine of Cups is about, like, somebody called it the relationship goals card. So it's where your relationship is happy, you are in love, everything is great. Yeah, sorry. I'm starting to get a little mixed up. But yeah. So yeah, some of the cards are kind of like evocative, some aren't. Yeah, like 10 of discs. That is about, here it's tradition. Usually it's about like family wealth. Okay, it's about wealth that passes through generations. Okay, it's about inheritances or, setting up some sort of a, I would say a birthright, but I don't think that's right. Like setting up an inheritance for your children, that sort of thing. So, and that card doesn't really show that. It doesn't show, sometimes it'll be like a man playing chess with his grandson, or, grandparents and grandchildren, like, hanging out. Doesn't really show that, but still it's pretty, so who cares? I've learned a lot from this deck. This is probably the deck that I have learned most from, because this is the deck that I have really studied with. Yeah, I told you that Deviant Moon really deepened my practice. Revelations broadened my practice. It showed me that there are different ways to read and different purposes for reading and different times when you want to read. But this is the one that I really have learned from. This is the one that has been with me for a long time, that I've used, because really that's the best way to learn is through use. So here's death. And there are kind of some misprints. Like, I don't know if you can see the lines that are across the middle there. So yeah, there's some, little printing glitches that happen, but I don't care. The card's gorgeous. And I've kind of gotten used to it. Let me see if you can see a little bit better. I don't know, there are like little lines in the middle, but yeah, anyways, this is kind of like this is the deck I'm most comfortable with, maybe. And I hesitate to say that because I want to say the Wild Unknown because that's my personal deck, but Wild Unknown is not a comfortable deck. Like I said, it's the deck of hard truths. So, and I encourage anyone who's learning tarot too to have a few different decks and have different decks for different purposes. And I have mentioned doing deck interviews. And if you go to my blog, which is just amyravenson.com, there's a search bar on the right, and you can search for deck interview, and it'll show you different deck interviews that I've done. It'll show you the spread and how to do it. I recommend doing that because each of these decks has their own energy. Each of them has their own association for me. From Revelations, which is about, how I speak with the dead, and it's, one that I only use usually when somebody's dying or I would speak with the dead. To I've got the Enchanted Map Oracle over here, and that is strictly for life path work for me. That is for, am I on my path? Have I strayed? How can I get back to it? Because that's just the energy of the deck. I've got the Paulina deck that is light and playful and goofy and silly and a lot of fun. So yeah, so have a couple, like, you don't have to collect. I mean, you don't have to have 400 decks, because I feel like at that point there are a lot that you're just not going to get to. You're not going to, you may read with them once and then just put them away and never see them again. But have a couple different ones for different purposes, or for different seasons, like I do, for different months, even, if you want to be like wacky about it. There's the sun. So. What time is it? 10:36. I may, this may be my last one. I may just show you guys some decks and not actually go through the whole blessing. and just kind of tell you a little bit about the different decks. Because I really am starting to get stuffy. This is how I got the sinus infection last year. And I don't know, I'll probably do some more tomorrow night after I do, like, you know, whatever ancestral Hecate work that I intend to do. I haven't come up with a ritual. I never do. I just kind of show up and kind of spirit leads me to do what I need to do. Last year I wrote letters to my ancestors, and I let go of some things I needed to let go of. I talked about some things that I needed to get off my chest, and in these big long letters, and then I gave it over to Hecate, and I burnt the letters, and I gave her all that energy of all that unfinished business with people who have passed on. And it was so meaningful and so powerful, and I just kind of came up with it off, like just off the cuff. And so that's how my rituals usually go. I just usually come up with, okay, what is it I want to accomplish? How would I do that in a symbolic kind of way? And so that's where my ritual plans come from. So that's what's nice about not being Wiccan and just being pagan, is you can do that. You have the freedom to do that, and you don't have to make sure your athame is in the right place on your altar. You can just kind of go, you know. Paganism is so much more intuitive. Well, some people aren't very intuitive about it, but it's just more flexible, definitely more flexible. So. Yeah, this one's neat. And actually another neat thing about this deck that I forgot to mention is, okay, so here's the Chariot. And the Chariot is about movement. It's about going after what you want. Okay, it's about, I have this thing, I'm motivated, I'm going to go do it, full steam ahead, let's go, right? So it's got the oak leaves and the acorns here. Okay, so oak and acorns, they're usually about strength, and they're very male. Okay, so it has that sense of strength, of masculinity, of like, you know, and this does tend to be a card that's seen as masculine, where I don't know, which I'm not into like gender normativity at all, but it's seen as masculine, whatever, traditionally. But we've got yarrow at the bottom here. We've got these yarrow stalks, and yarrow is usually about luck, right? So when you push forward like that, sometimes you need luck on your side. You need that energy as well. So it always brings in these kind of herbal or tree correspondences. So it's another thing I really like about this deck. And another thing I really like about this deck is it is very Celtic, in that it has pictures of stone circles, of ruins, of, you know, various things that you would find in Ireland or England, like the Ulster horse, I think it's called, where it's carved into the side of a chalk hillside. You know, it's ancient. Nobody knows exactly why it's there or where it came from, but it has some symbolism. You know what I mean? And it's used in this card, diplomacy, where it was a meeting place, okay, where people would get together and settle disputes and that sort of thing. So yeah. And I think this is a good time to call it, because my Palo Santo is not staying lit at all. I could start a new stick, but like I don't want to do that. See if we can get it to really burn. Okay. Oh, that was neat. It made like a little, yeah, the delay, there's a delay in what I'm seeing. And so I just saw where it made that kind of halo from the fire. Okay, see, here's another really good one. Here we've got this other, the web, which is not in a traditional major arcana. But the web is, I believe this takes the place of the justice card. And it is about how everything we touch has an effect, okay? And I love the idea of the web, and I love the idea of, again, that's why spider is really important to me, because there's this idea that every time you touch the web, there are vibrations that happen farther along the web. You can touch this one thread and you don't realize something is going to happen way over here because of something that you did or said, or that sort of thing. So yeah, so it's like, and that's a great thing for justice, because yeah, it makes you think about karma, right? Because karma is very much about that. What you do has an effect, and it does come back to you. That reverberation comes back to you. So I really like that. And instead of the devil, because there is no devil in the craft, that is a Christian concept, we have the underworld, okay, ruled over by the god of the underworld. So it's more about facing your internal demons, if you will. It's more about shadow work and facing the things in yourself that you don't necessarily want to deal with. So yeah, and then this is my significator. For myself, whenever I have to have a significator, and a significator is when you have a card that represents you. So you'll put down the significator and then arrange cards around it. So it's like all the forces that are working on you as symbolized by this card. So this is Queen of Pentacles, and she is always my significator because I am an earthy Capricorn person. Yeah, I think that's it for my blessing, because I'm not keeping this Palo Santo lit, and I'm tired because it takes some energy too. Because like as I've been talking, I've been yapping a lot, but I've also been trying to put energy into cleansing and blessing. So I'm getting a little tired, as any energy work will eventually wear you out. Like actually, and that's the same thing for tarot reading. Hey, Chris, how are you doing? I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't say your real name. But yeah, tarot readings take a lot of energy too, because like I really connect with the cards. I really connect with the people I'm reading for. So yeah, so like if I do a lot of tarot readings, like at Dragon Con, it takes a lot of energy. So I'm just going to show you guys some decks. This is probably my favorite Oracle deck. This one is, again, I use this for life path work. And I like Colette Baron Reed's decks a lot. They always read really well. This one, I just pulled open the box and started reading with it, and it was awesome. I didn't have to do anything with this deck. It just immediately started reading. And I was actually at a Korean sauna here in Atlanta, and I was playing with the cards, and this girl just came and sat down and started touching them and playing with them, and I was like, oh, don't. Drove me crazy. But she set them out and gave herself a great reading with my cards. Right on. So a lot of Colette Baron Reed's decks are like that. So here I've got my Rider-Waite Smith deck. And I got this at Spirit Halloween store for $3.99, I think. And I never had a Rider-Waite deck. So it was, I don't know. This is the deck that I recommend that people learn with because it has the symbolism that all other decks kind of build off of. Okay, so if you can learn this deck, you can pretty much pick up any other deck. Well, most other decks. Some follow a different system, but you can really read other decks once you learn all these symbols that are in these cards. So again, I got this one at Spirit Halloween store, cheap. I got it on the website. Go there like check it out, see if they've got it. And also they have a bunch of really cute Ouija decorative stuff. I got a really good mug, and it's like a nice mug. It's like this really thick, heavy material. It's not cheap. So this one I just got. I haven't even, I've kind of shuffled through it a little bit. This is my December deck, okay, because I wanted something kind of opulent, all right? And this has like really good gold leafing, which again, you know, I have an issue with gold leafing, but this one I wanted something that was like really just over the top for December because it's the holidays and everything is kind of over the top anyways. The art on this is really pretty. I'm going to pull out a couple cards. It's, I mean, look at the book. Look at how pretty that is. But yeah, this is the back. And so it's gorgeous. That's just going to be a really pretty spread for December, right? And then like, here's the Queen of Wands. The art is just so colorful and so over the top that I love it. And I'm looking forward to reading with this. I just haven't gotten there yet, but again, it's my December deck. So I'm going to set up some spreads so that you can see what it looks like when it's out, when it's all, yeah, let me find one more. Yeah, look at that Queen of Swords. She's so Elizabethan. And actually what's really cool about this deck is each suit has a different cultural background. So swords, I believe, is fairy, okay? Wands is Middle Eastern. Am I making that up? Swords is fairy. Wands is Middle Eastern. Pentacles, I know, is kind of Asian, kind of Pan-Asian. And Wands, maybe Wands is fairy. Swords is Elizabethan England. What is Cups? See, here's Pentacles. Here's an example of that kind of Asian influence. But yeah, so it brings all these really cool cultural images in. And it's just beautiful. It is just so colorful. Yeah, Wands is definitely Middle Eastern. It just brings in all these beautiful colors, beautiful images. So I just love it for December because it is like a celebration. I'm not making it up. Shut up. It's very important business, or very serious business. I'm just talking about all my decks. You know, you've gotten readings from like 5 different decks of mine. Okay, so Colette Baron Reed also did a tarot deck. She's done a lot of oracles, and I've got 2 of her oracles. I've got the Enchanted Map, which again is for life path work. I've got Wisdom of the Hidden Realms, which talks about people. It talks about guides in your life for specific things. Okay, then she did the Good Tarot, and this tarot is beautiful. I know I have too many decks, but this is what I do for a living, so you have too many chef knives or whatever. So yeah, so the imagery on this is gorgeous. The art is stunning. What I hate about this deck, like, and I mean, like, it is really something I have to work through every time I work with it, is that these cards are huge and they're thick. They're on this really thick cardstock, and they are hard as hell to shuffle because I have arthritis in my hands, and so that is something that's really difficult for me. So yeah, I love this deck so much. It's so beautiful, but it just hurts every time I use it. But I highly recommend it because it's a very sweet, very sensitive deck. And it's very nurturing and compassionate. And this is what I use when people are asking about relationships. Because, Chris, each one has its own purpose. You would know that if you had gotten here earlier. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. It's kind of a wreck right now, but this is one that went out of print. And I managed to get a copy of it before it went out of print. And it's so cool. And I wish I used it more. It's the Tea Leaf Fortune cards. And this deck has, first of all, this enormous book. Okay. But it has this bag that it comes with. Right. So you put all these cards into this bag to shuffle them around. And you kind of need this enormous bag because there are 200 cards in here. Okay, and they're round. And it's meant to be read as if you were reading tea leaves. I think I did, actually. Did I not? But you read it as if you're reading tea leaves. This is really good. You can do a really cool year spread for this, where it, you do all 12 months, and you can pull 2, 3 cards, however many you like. Works really well with that because there's so many cards. Kite for vacation. And what's neat about this is it also has months of the year. So you can set it out. You can be like, okay, September, and then set out the cards that pertain to September. Or it has like different concepts, okay? Like success. So you can set the card down, kind of set up your spread, and then put the tea leaf card on top of it. So it's just really cool for that, for building readings. And again, because there are so many different cards, you can make these really crazy complex readings. I love this deck, and I need to play with it more often. But yeah. Yeah, I had a friend who was like really into reading actual tea leaves. And it's something I've always kind of wanted to do, but like I have so many projects, like it's hard for me to like commit to something unless I like absolutely am just gobsmacked with passion for it. I try not to take on too much stuff. Chris, you know how I am. Okay, so this is Oracle of the Goddess, and I've had this for a long time. I haven't used it that much. I'm going to be real honest. It is by Amy Zerner and Monty Farber. And it's set up kind of strangely, where we've got these goddesses, right? We've got, here's Freya. But it's separated into 3 areas, okay? So we've got Freya in her home. And then if I look through here, I'll find, I'm not going to look real hard, but I'll find Freya in her heart. Here's Hecate. So, Hecate. So we've got each goddess, and we look at 3 different aspects of her. I don't know, it's kind of cool. I just never connected with it. So we've got Hecate in her head, which is think seductively. Hecate is not very seductive. This is why I never really connected with it, because it just doesn't work for how I think of these goddesses. Okay, so we've got Hecate in her heart, feel renewed. She's not really a renewal goddess. She's more of a excuse me. Yeah, it is. It's not easy to read, and I don't love it. Oh, unless you were talking about the tea leaf, but I don't know. This one, I don't recommend it. Like, I want to like it because I love working with goddesses and with feminine spirituality. I just never got into it. Her home, make big changes. And yeah, okay, she's very much a goddess of transformation. But I don't know. I feel like they're reaching on some other things. So I don't know. Your mileage may vary. You may love this deck. I find it kind of meh. I mean, the art's gorgeous. And I actually bought it because I kind of wanted to take these cards so I could put them on my altar and kind of study these deities, but I don't really agree with the associations that they assign to them. So this is the Oracle of the Goddess. It's okay. Okay. I'm getting covered up in cards here. Okay, the Raven's Prophecy Tarot. I'm pretty sure. I feel like, CJ, you guys may have seen this. I don't remember if I brought this one actually. This is my September deck. And it comes with a great book. Again, a really thick, like serious book. Which is nice. I don't necessarily need it, but it's cool. The thing with this is the images are very spare, but the colors, and they're very emotional. Okay, they're very deep, and they kind of work on this deep level, this deep kind of psychological level, where it's just, you know, a couple of strokes, like Queen of Wands, like she's breathing fire. That's pretty fucking cool, actually. You know what I mean? And it kind of tells you it's a trigger to what you already know about the Queen of Wands. Okay. I don't know. I love this deck for many reasons. The world, we've got this open road, right? The road is at our feet. We can go do whatever we want to from here. One thing I love about this deck, the size is good. It's small enough I can shuffle it easily. The material is kind of like this plastic. Okay, it's not like paper cards. And I dig that because it's not going to fray around the edges. It's not going to chip around the edges. It's going to be durable. It just, the texture's a little strange, but I'm okay with that because it shuffles really easily. And I feel like it's going to hold up. So yeah, here's the Fool. And I mean, it's so evocative. I mean, it's just like, hello world, here I am. I'm going to come explore you, you know, just great Fool stuff. That whole, the universe is here to help me along in my journey kind of thing. So anyways, this is the Raven's Prophecy. Love it. And again, it's my September deck because September is kind of when we start, you know, moving into the dark half of the year and we start thinking about, we start going within, we get a little bit less fluffy and a little bit more introspective. And it's a great month to do shadow work as the darkness kind of descends. So a darker deck is good for September. This is my, you know, I'm only going to do a couple more. I'm not going to do all these. I would be here all night. This is the Paulina Tarot. Something just fell. Okay. This is the Paulina Tarot, and this one is my April deck. Pretty sure it's my April deck. And what I love about this one is the art is very whimsical. Okay, so it has that spring energy. And it's just very lighthearted. And when I did the deck interview for this, that's what it said. It's a playful deck. It is there to be silly and fun. And it's not about anything too serious. The world, let me put that to where you can actually see it. But her art is very detailed, and I love lots of detail in art. Like Ten of Swords, which is, you know, again, about despair. It's about, well, it's about an ending. It's about don't hold on to something that has died. It's about something that needs to pass, needs to be cut away. And so it's still evocative. It still has a little bit of seriousness, but it's still pretty. You know what I mean? So this is going to pretty up this message for, you know, a reading that's like a little bit lighter hearted. Knight of Cups. So, love Paulina. I'm going to show you guys 2 more, 3 more. And then I got to go because I'm like, I'm fading. Okay. So, this is the Tarot of the Trees. And I use this for my chakra reading, the Kundalini reading, because the Kundalini energy, as it moves up your chakras, which move up your spine, as that moves, it is very tree-like. Okay, it has that sense of growth, right? And so these are all just, here's the back. The back is gorgeous. So these are all just pictures of trees, really pretty pictures of trees. You need to know what the cards mean, because like this one, the Magician, you would never pick up the meaning from that. It's a tree with stuff hanging from it, right? It's not going to tell you what it's about. You need to know. Nine of Pentacles, same thing, but it's in the roots. So they're like clues, but it's really hard to read otherwise. But the deck A is beautiful and colorful, and it looks great for that Kundalini reading because chakra energy is all about colors, and it's all about that energy kind of branching up through. I also use this I have a reading that's 78 cards, so it's like all the cards laid out. And I use this deck for that reading. Here's the High Priestess, which is really pretty. I use this deck for that reading because they're small. And so I can get the whole reading. I have to do that one on my bed. So I have to like cover my bed in like a nice piece of velvet fabric or something, and then lay all the cards out. And they're small enough that I can do that. So yeah. So I love this deck. My sister gave me this one for my birthday, and I use this as my June deck, I believe. I should have had a list of all that so I could tell you for sure, but yeah, so like each reading has its own flavor. Each month has its own flavor because I choose cards that kind of match the energy of the month, and June being about growing, about, everything is blooming. Okay, so this is a different deck. I got really into reading Lenormand for a while. And Lenormand is a different system for reading cards, where you've got 36 cards. 36 cards. And it's so much more, and this is the only deck I have by the artist Ciro Marchetti, and his stuff is so opulent, so beautiful. It's just rich and luscious, right? But Lenormand, you read so much more literal, all right? So say we've got, okay, the dog, right? The dog is a loyal friend, okay? There's not a lot of symbolism. There's not a lot of backstory. The dog is just a loyal friend. So here we've got, okay, the mountain. And the mountain is about obstacles. Okay, so when you read, you do like a 3-card read. There are very, specific ways to read Lenormand. You do dog and mountain. You have a friend that is facing obstacles. Okay. And then I'm trying to think, okay. So then you draw the book, and the message is you have a friend that's facing obstacles, but you have the answers. Okay. It's been a while since I've read Lenormand. I'm 90% sure I'm right on that. But it's so literal. There's not a lot of symbolism, a lot of extrapolation you have to do. It just tells you a sentence. Okay. But it's really cool, and I love this. I love Lenormand because the cards tend to be smaller, and again, my hands. And these are really good to carry around. Okay, these are good to keep in your purse, keep in your bag, keep in your pocket, whatever, and just flip them out and do a reading real quick, because it's not, you don't have to noodle over what the cards mean. It's just super clear. So this is good for carrying around. And then the last one I wanted to do, I don't know. Hang on just a sec. This is probably a good one. This is the Wildwood Tarot. And I know people love or hate this deck. It's another deck that is paganized, right? So it's got, like, takes a lot of liberties, and I understand why, because, like, we don't have a devil in the craft. So the devil card, like a lot of the cards, like the devil or judgment, things like that, come from Christian theology, right? So a lot of those things have been changed in this deck. And that's kind of cool. Like, I get that. But a lot of times it's like, okay, but we can, use the devil as a symbol of us fighting our inner demons or the things that tempt us or things like that. So I don't know. People go back and forth on this deck. What I love about this deck is that the court cards are represented by animals. So here we've got the Page of Arrows, which is a wren. So it brings in animal symbolism, which is really cool. The imagery is very immediate, very human. Yeah, see, there's one that's not quite right. Yeah, so here we've got the Nine of Stones, which is tradition. Excuse me. Stones corresponds to the Knight of Pentacles, which is not the Ten of Pentacles in most decks is tradition. Okay, and it was in the Sacred Circle deck that we just looked at a little while ago. So it kind of takes too many liberties, maybe, to where it's just not. You know, we've got, instead of the star, we've got the pole star. That's cool. You know, I can see that. So there's like a lot of stuff like that that's like, maybe, I don't know. Two of Vessels. This one's really cool. Got the Two of Vessels, which is attraction. And yeah, I love that burning heart in between them. It's so, this union of two different things for sure. We've got a horse and a stag. But yeah, it just is so evocative. Lots of animal symbolism in this. Nine of Vessels. So yeah. So I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm fading. I've been streaming for almost 3 hours now. I've been streaming for 3 hours and 8 minutes now. So I'm going to drop off. And I should finish that story that's due tomorrow. I'm probably going to do it tomorrow because I'm a slacker. And I wait until the last minute to do things like that. So does anyone have any questions or anything? I think you guys are probably have faded out too, and rightfully so. This is Durdrew by Corvus Core X. It's a good song. I don't know where I just put the top to this. Like I just had the top to the, oh, I put it on the bottom. Hey Chris, thanks for coming. I know you probably just got off work. It was nice to see you. I mean, you know, as much as I'm seeing you. Bye, CJ. Thank you so much for coming. It was nice to, like, we got to hang out sometime. Like, seriously, I would love to just meet you guys and grab food. And I'd like for you to meet Joe because I think he would have, like, so much to talk about as far as haunting and Halloween and horror. And it's all the stuff we love, too. So I'd love to hang out with you guys. And I hope you have a good night, too. And a good Halloween tomorrow. And or Samhain. What the hell did I put this book? So yeah, and if anyone wants to replay this, I don't know why you would, because this is like a long and winding road I took with all this stuff. But if you need to go back and find something, it's going to be on YouTube. So you'll be able to look it up on YouTube. So again, I don't know why you would. So yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, and you just don't have to drive all the way up here. We can find some place that's better than that Vietnamese. Although that was quite an experience. So, and actually the woman who I met there followed me. She followed my Readings by Amy Ravenson page. So that was really cool. So I was like, oh yeah, I met this woman out in the middle of nowhere. So that was fun. So, okay, I'm going to sign off. Love you guys. Thank you for coming. And everybody have a good night. Have a good Halloween or Samhain or whatever you celebrate. Yeah, thank you for coming.